People have different ideologies, very different ideas, different purposes, and different aspirations in life. What if you have only one ideology, one aspiration, and one dream in your life? And every moment, every day, every single hour, every single second, you think about that one dream in your life. And what if that dream is to liberate your country, India, from the clutches of foreign rule, the British rule in India? How will that ideology be? Yes, we are talking about a woman, an Indian woman, whom in the 1920s, when all the other women of those times were actually taking care of their families in the traditional Indian system, in conventions, there was an Indian woman who every moment, every single day, for every single breath that she took, there was only one dream for her: to liberate India from the British rule. She is Durgawati Devi, affectionately called as Durga Bhabhi, who played a pivotal role in the Indian freedom struggle and yet did not get her place in the pages of history. Sometimes history is like that. In today's She Ark, let's discuss this wonderful story, the ferocious story, the story of hardships Durga Bhabhi took to liberate India from the clutches of British. Durga Bhabhi. Durga Bhabhi played a pivotal role in the Indian revolutionary movement alongside with Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar, Azad, and her husband Bhagwati Charan Vora. She played a very instrumental role in almost all the activities of the Indian revolutionary movement, and the classic episode that one attaches Durga Bhabhi is when Bhagat Singh, when he killed Saunders. There was a lookout notice everywhere for Bhagat Singh, and the classic episode which people remember about Durga Bhabhi is when Durga Bhabhi helped Bhagat Singh and his people to escape from the Lahore railway station in disguise. That is not only a simple tale, that was a heroic act. But there are other great stories about Durga Bhabhi. This is not only the only story that people should remember. Perhaps there are even more heroic stories in her life, more incidents, her days, her every single day, the happenings that happened in her life, how she shaped her life. All this is worth remembering, and it feels immense admiration for her when we listen to all those stories. So let's slowly unfold the story of Durga Bhabhi. All credits goes to Lala Lajpat Rai, the Punjab Kesari, and many other supporters of him. Under his stewardship, the Punjab National College was created, which became the epicenter of nationalism in India, the youth nationalism in India, and Dwarakdas College Library, which became a hub of all the people, the young people, to discuss about the events that is happening in India and how to get that prized freedom. And even Durga Bhabhi in those times, every day was filled with so much happiness because she got an opportunity to tackle all the issues of that time and be a part of the great movement which Gandhiji was leading. They were all great staunch supporters of Gandhiji. When every day was filled with campaigning, inspiring people and telling them the message of freedom. It was a great, memorable time for all of them. And then came Chori Chora, which people know. Gandhiji pulled back the non-cooperation movement. The Chori Chora incident. That gave a big blow to all the aspirations of the young people of India, including Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar, Azad, were all taken aback, which you know, that is how the history of the revolutionary movement begins in India. They were totally taken aback. Now they understood that there is no point in simply talking about non-violence. Violence in India has to be dealt with violence. That was their philosophy. And it was Durga Bhabhi's husband, Bhagwati Charan Vora, who took a lead in this. Because even before that, the Naujawan Bharat Sabha and the Hindustan Socialist Republic Association, the army was created, and Bhagwati Charan Vora was a leading figure on that because he was the most eldest among them. And not only that, they used to conduct that secret meetings in their houses Now they started their movement. The whole of the revolutionary activity movement was confined to the undergrounds. There were secret meetings in almost every places. And that was the moment when Bhagawati Charan Vora became the lead and supporter of Bhagat Singh, because he knew the art of making a bomb. Now people say it was going to be the cult of bomb, the philosophy of bomb. They conducted a lot of secret meetings, and that was a time when Bhagawati Charan Vora, when the secret meetings used to happen, for the first time gave a bomb and a pistol in the hands of Durga Bhabhi. And she was not like any other normal woman of that time. She also had that fire, the fire which was rekindling in her heart, the fire which wanted freedom. She took the pistols and the bombs with a lot of happiness and pledged her support for this revolutionary movement. Secret meetings happened continuously in her houses, different places. She gave support, continuous support to all the people: Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, Rajguru, Yashpal, Vaishampayan, Chandrasekhar, Azad. It was a long list of revolutionaries meeting in the undergrounds. That was the beginning of the cult of bomb, because they want to change the system through violence, because the system demands violence. That was the philosophy which they were putting forward. And that was a moment when the key thing happened. The key thing, when Lala Lajpat Rai was beaten to death in the Simon Commission Lathi charge. The death of Lala Lajpat Rai created pain and agony in the minds of all the young people, the revolutionaries who saw him as an icon. And that was the Simon Go Back Commission's protest, where Lathi charges were mercilessly done, where people were beaten to death. That was the situation, and the whole thing was happening under the stewardship of Scott, the superintendent. And then the assistant superintendent Saunders were all involved in this. And people in those nights, the revolutionary movement, they stuck posters all around the streets that the young people in India will give answers, will take revenge for the death. That is when the underground meetings again became active. And under the leadership of Bhagat Singh and all other revolutionaries, they decided that the youth of India, the young youth of India, the firebrand people, are going to take revenge for the death of Lala. That is when Bhagat Singh and the gang decided that they're gonna kill Scott, who was responsible for the murder. And likewise, they practiced, rehearsed, planned everything. And what happened is history. You know, they killed the wrong person. Instead of Scott, they killed Saunders, which you know is history. Everywhere, people were given notices, the streets were stuck with posters, the lookout posters for Bhagat Singh and his gang for the murder of Saunders. That shook the British government in India. The murder literally shook the British government in India. There were lookout notices for him. And that is a classic episode which we talk about. They had to go in disguise, and somehow they wanted to badly get outside Lahore. That was when Durga Bhabhi created that plan. And the day before the plan, Bhagat Singh, as a part of the plan, created a big change in his face. He took away his beard, his turban, and kept a very sharpened moustache. And on the day, I think his friends took Bhagat Singh to Durga Bhabhi and showed him. Durga Bhabhi was surprised to see this young gentleman. Who is he? And that is when Bhagat Singh said, "That is me, Bhagat." Durga Bhabhi couldn't believe her eyes. So Bhagat was very happy. If Bhabhi could not find me, I don't think any British police will actually ever find me. That was the confidence. And in that night, Durga Bhabhi took the whole charge. She planned the whole rescue. How Bhagat Singh and the company should be rescued from Lahore railway station to the Calcutta station. They created the plan, and that is why the most important incident of Durga Bhabhi starts here. She takes her son with her. Bhagat Singh is actually coming in a gentleman, the British gentleman who poses himself as a man who is coming back from London. So he poses himself as a rich aristocrat man, and Durga Bhabhi plays his wife. And he has her kid with him, and along with the other people, they're all moving to the Lahore railway station, and nobody notices them. And suddenly, Durga Bhabhi was astonished. She was astonished to see some British officers were looking at Bhagat Singh. That created a sense of fury in her mind. She knew she wanted to do something to distract. And her presence of mind clicked. All that she could do was to throw the luggage on the platform. That created a sound, and that worked the magic. The officers came, they had a small interaction, helped her pack the whole luggage, and they moved away. She successfully worked out the plan. Bhagat Singh and Bhabhi, they boarded the train, and all the other Indian revolutionaries were actually present. They boarded the different trains, and that is how successfully Durga Bhabhi accomplished the mission. She accomplished the mission and took charge of all the revolutionary company and safely took them all to Calcutta. This is possibly the most famous episode and tale that people associate with Durga Bhabhi. But this is not only the only heroic tale. Let's find out the other great tales about Durga Bhabhi. Bomb was the X factor of Durga Bhabhi's life, because hundreds of bombs on daily basis were actually made in her house in the underground by her husband Bhagwati Charan Vora, who was an expert in bomb making. Not only that, they even rented a building which was called as the Himalayan Toilets, a secret name which was given for a bomb making factory. And the revolutionary network in India was largely connected, and their mission of promoting or liberating India was through this armed rebellion. So for this they needed arms, pistols, guns, bombs, and Durga Bhabhi played a pivotal role in this also. Every day she used to carry bombs along with the vegetables. She used to have a big basket full of vegetables, and underneath the layers she had bombs to be supplied to the revolutionaries to be used. So in every day, that is how the biggest mishap of her life also happened. Bhagwati Charan Vora, along with her supporters Vaishampayana and Yashpal, were testing the bomb. That is when a big bomb actually went off in Vora's hand. They were testing it in the rivers, and finally Vora died instantly in the bomb blast. She couldn't even see Vora's last body, but she did not stop. And you should also remember, Durga Bhabhi in those times, when education was not available to all the people, when she was actually thrown out from the classes, discontinued education, she made sure that she studied again, because she believed only through education you have an awakened mind coming up. That is why she studied again, and not even that, in her house she took classes for all the children. She knew that an awakened soul is always an awakened soul, and that is what India needs. That was the commitment towards the youth of India. And her husband passed away. That did not stop her. And that was a time when Bhagwati Charan Vora also did a plan to assassinate Lord Irwin. And they also planned another bomb incident when they planned to kill Lord Irwin in a train crash, which was also foiled. That did not take up. There were many plans which they created. And that was also a time when Bhagat Singh threw bomb in the assembly with Batukeshwar Dutt. Bhagat Singh and his gang were arrested. And Azad was out. They still created a lot of plans to free Bhagat Singh from the jail. When they were transported in the jail, they wanted to create a plan by which they wanted to bomb. And out of that, 4 children were also assigned for that. Everything was planned, but that also did not go well. So plans and plans, not a single day. Every day she wanted to do something for the cause of this country. And that was the time when she officially became a visiting person to the jail. As the auntie of Bhagat Singh, she registered herself in the jail records and made sure that she met Bhagat every time in the jail and passed on all the information regarding the activities which was happening. She updated Bhagat Singh in the jail. And finally what happened is, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru, they were sentenced to death, hanging by death. The death sentence shocked almost the whole country. The whole of India was shocked. Bhagat Singh will be hanged soon. That created a huge furor in India. And that is when Durga Bhabhi, along with her friends, she took a women contingent. She went and met Gandhiji. She pleaded that political prisoners be given respite. Bhagat Singh and Sukhdev Rajguru should also be given respite. That did not work out. Yet, Durga Bhabhi did not stop. She took the pistol and the bomb which her husband gave her. And what happened is, she went to Mumbai in the Leamington Road. She shot a sergeant and his wife. It was a clean shot. A clean incident. Nobody even knew about this. She shot at the sergeant and his wife. She even led the funeral procession of Jatin Das, the firebrand revolutionary who shook the Britishers with a 63 days hunger strike in the jail. They tried to feed him a lot, but he held on. He held on like an iron and finally gave up his life. Hundreds and thousands of people participated in the funeral procession and paid their ultimate homage. Durga Bhabhi conducted the whole homage, took the procession from Lahore until Howrah, where she handed over it to Subhash Chandra Bose. What not? You can see hundreds of tales if you take each and every day of her day. Every day was packed with love and vigor for this country, to do something for this nation. And finally, where did she go? Where did she go? Where did she vanish? After some time in the late 1930s, when most of the famous revolutionaries were executed, or many of them became government approvers, the movement actually declined. And many of the people, the so-called revolutionaries, settled with a normal life. They became a part of the society and the fire was gone. Where did she go? Where did Durga Bhabhi vanish? The key question. People say that she also got settled in the society, and after the independence, she went to Madras and she learned the Montessori and even started a Montessori school, which people say once Jawaharlal Nehru visited her school. But what really happened to her? Where did she vanish? It is not only the tale of Durga Bhabhi. Hundreds and thousands of people who have given their whole life to the cause of freedom did not find their place in the pages of history. They are also missing. Completely missing. It seems that history is always like a very busy man. It only records the things which comes into the front, or only listen to the things which gets into its ears. Sometimes people like this, who have given their breath and soul, do not find mention in the pages of history. That is the sad part. Durga Bhabhi went on to live in Ghaziabad and she died at the age of 92 in 1999. It really amuses me, with pain and with anger, that we have icons living amongst us who should have been treasured like treasures are not being taken into the light. Durga Bhabhi is a representation of hundreds and thousands of fighters who gave their lives for this country, to liberate this country from the foreign rule. In this She Ark, it gives us a lot of pride and honor to present the story of Durga Bhabhi as a befitting tribute for all the sacrifices that she made in her life. And there are hundreds of people, as I said, hundreds and thousands of people like this who are not recorded. And if you know such people, it's again a request from our side. If you know such people, comment below the names of such people. Whom do you think we should make videos? It's an open request to all of you. And the real homage does not lie in memorials. The real homage does not lie in the memorials. The real homage lies in the fire within. The fire, the spirit which rekindles our heart, that gives us the lessons to move on. Durga Bhabhi is definitely a fire that is rekindling in our hearts. This is Arjun R. Shaankar and you're listening to LearnStroke.